Today I want to provide a little deeper insight to how your type can tend to change during times of stress and during times of growth. It's important to remember that your Enneagram type is fluid and, depending on the circumstance, can show up in a variety of ways, ranging from very healthy to average to unhealthy. Another way to say this would be, depending on the situation, are you using your Enneagram superpowers for good, or are your Enneagram superpowers not serving you well in that moment? This is self-awareness that can be gained by learning about something like the Enneagram. So, I want you to imagine yourself on a timeline, going through your life, experiencing the world through the lens of your Enneagram type. We all tend to move along our timelines every day with this lens, and how you typically behave is rooted in this type. So for me, I'm a 6, and on an average day, I will be reacting and behaving somewhere along the spectrum of using my 6 powers for really positive things, like confidence in a decision I've made without second guessing it, or flexing my loyalty muscle to help see a commitment through all the way to the end. Or some less productive 6 tendencies like continuously challenging or judging something that can then become a barrier to moving on to the next thing. As we move through life, we are always somewhere along our own Enneagram spectrum, and if nothing ever changed around us, we'd most likely stay right there and be pretty content from day to day. But, as we all know, our days are not always average, and along our timeline, we encounter events and experiences daily that trigger change in our behavior. Easier said, the only thing constant is change. Building your awareness around how you may tend to act in these situations will help you to operate in the most healthy and productive areas of your type, and in the types you lean towards during times of growth and times of stress. Finally, don't confuse the word stress as a purely negative word. For the purposes of today, think of stress as situational or a change you can encounter in your environment. This trigger can teach us important things about how we grow from our experiences. Once stress occurs, or the change in your environment, you can begin the longer-term work of intentional growth. Developing new patterns of growth is slow, and it happens over time. So, let's dive in and look at how your type can show up during times of stress or change and in times of growth. Now that you know a bit more about how change can affect your type and what true growth looks like, take some time to discuss with your colleagues your own experiences. You may find that your group has a common experience, for example, living through the year of 2020, that you can discuss. Or feel free to discuss another experience that you've had that's major in your life, becoming a parent, moving to a new city, working in a new job, or navigating through a family crisis are a few memorable experiences many of us have had. Feel free to reference the slide, and keep in mind that stress really just means change. It doesn't have to be negative. Change is situational. Healthy and sustainable growth is intentional and takes time. At the end of your breakout, you will be notified by a countdown that your time is coming to a close, and you will be directed back to the main screen. But please don't let the conversation and connection with your colleagues stop here today. My hope is that you will continue to connect with each other and share your experiences, and most importantly, what's working for you. Thank you, and enjoy your conversations. At an average level of self-awareness, 6s are organized and vigilant, translating their anxieties into getting things done. Most 6s will wrestle a bit with the relationship between following rules and continuing to learn from their experiences. They may come off negative when communicating their realistic outlooks. At the lowest level of self-awareness, a 6 may lack trust in others or create problems where they don't exist. If they sense ulterior motives in others or create this story in their head, they will make a clear delineation between outsiders and insiders. In moments of great change or stress, a 6 may tend to move towards the attributes of an Enneagram 3, the achiever. The danger zone here is when a 6 latches onto a 3's strong ability to be productive and burns themselves out. At their very best, an Enneagram 6 uses the strong traits of the 3 to practice confidence and self-assurance to move forward without second-guessing any of their decisions. In these scenarios, 6s need to focus on what will make them look good and just go for it instead of getting too caught up in the fears that they have. Over time and through experience, a 6 will grow in their self-awareness when harnessing the best traits of the Enneagram 9, the peacemaker. Because 6s are highly analytical and critical, they could dangerously fall into a pattern of seeing nothing beyond the status quo, which is a struggle many 6s often face. However, at the highest level of self-awareness, when making strides towards change, 6s are able to become more open to seeing everyone's side, something that comes very naturally to the peacemaker number 9. When a 6 is at their very best and in this growth mode, they are an easygoing person whose ideas become more welcome to those who may have otherwise felt criticized or judged by the skeptic 6.